Michelle, who's first on the list?
Well, some other folks have come in, so I just want to make sure that they understand that they need to sign the sheet if they wish to speak. I'm not sure everybody knew that. Okay?
Yeah.
The first name on the list is David Lamora.
Thank you. My name is David Lamora. I live in Cape Vincent here at 35530 New York State Route 12E. My phone number is 783-8744. Before I begin, I'd like to not have the timer started yet, please. Okay. Mr. Curtin, with all due respect, I would ask you not to take this in any way personal or as a professional insult. This is a public hearing where I'm here to address this board. The directions to us are to address the board, and part of what my discussions are regarding the legal strategy that this board is taking, and I feel that I really think that you could impact this board's decisions if you sit at the table. Could I ask you just to please sit in the crowd or in the audience while I address the board? I'm not asking you to do it for the entire hearing, just while I'm addressing the board.
I'm here as a legal counsel to the board on behalf of the town. I serve at the will of the board, and where I sit is up to the chair. I think it's completely inappropriate to ask me to move at this point in time. And moreover, David, I respectfully note for the record that we're almost 15 minutes into a public hearing, and the only one who's spoken at this point is you. And nothing of substance has been offered. So the reason that there are these rules of conduct that were laid out by the supervisor is to provide everyone here an adequate opportunity to be heard. And based on the interest, shall we say, of what is before this town and this board, it was determined to set time limits initially. Now we're almost 15 minutes into the public hearing, and not much has progressed. So with all due respect, I will simply say to you, I intend to sit here unless asked to move by the supervisor and by the board, and the floor is yours.
Could I, before the timer starts, I'd just like to address that.
The timer is started. Let's get on with it, would you please?
I'm sorry, sir, but that issue isn't finished yet. If you're going to follow the procedures that you've established, then you have to allow me to address that. Because I made a perfectly sensible request, and all I'm asking is that this is a regular town board meeting. At any regular town board meeting I've been to, there's never an attorney sitting at the town board office.
This is a hearing.
It is also
We're here to hear you, and you've got 6 minutes the first time around. Keep going.
I'll allow you to speak. If that's your decision. I'd like to speak under objection to that. First of all, I want to thank all of you members for being involved in this process. This has been some kind of a process that we've gone through in this community. There's a lot of images that are stuck in my mind and are going to stick in my mind for a long time. Some of them are positive, some of them are pretty bad. Some of the positive ones are, for example, Mr. Schneider 5 years ago standing in the rain down on James Street with a sign trying to implore people to come and vote for him. That was indeed a remarkable thing for Cliff to do. And since that time, he has shown unbelievable commitment to this process. And I appreciate that and I admire you for it. John, a memory I have of you is standing up and upholding the right to film public media in the face of the scrutiny and the alienation that you faced. I admire you for that. Mr. Hershey, I admire you for all of your effort to maintain control over this and a modicum of respect. I appreciate all of that. It leads me to ask, what's driven all of us in this room, everybody in this room? What has driven us to put our lives on hold while we address this potential life-changing development in this town? When this is viewed from a perspective that's removed from our immediate local area, it becomes obvious that this has been much more than a fight over men's rights. It's really a story that closely resembles, in my mind, a myriad of battles that have been fought ever since the Pilgrims left England, seeking to get out under the tyrannical rule of an oppressive monarchy. Since that time, Americans have fought for the freedom to determine their own destiny. What began then is what has driven all of us here in this room. We are in an epic struggle to govern ourselves at the fundamental level. I sought to educate myself on energy policies, town law, state law, county laws.
60 seconds.
I'm constantly evaluating how to apply myself to this, objectively view this issue. It's been an eye-opening experience, and I've gained many new perspectives on the world around me. One of the most difficult things for me has been how and when to voice my opinions, knowing that they've differed from others. Many times I found myself at odds with my neighbors and the people on the pro-win side of this, and I've also found myself at odds with the people that oppose the project. If you would indulge me, I'd like to, I'm trying to improve my public speaking, and I find that I can gain a new perspective if I refer to historical analogies. And in that vein, I'm going to just read this excerpt from Patrick Henry's address to the House of Burgesses in 1776. I think it's very pertinent to this issue and to the discussion that we were just having about
That is
the
time.
document. No man thinks more highly than I do of the patriotism as well as abilities of the very gentlemen who have just addressed this House. Different
I
men,
understand your concern.
different men often see the same subject in different lights. And therefore, I hope it will not be thought disrespectful to those gentlemen, but entertaining as I do opinions of a character very opposite to theirs, I shall speak forth my sentiments freely and without reserve. This is no time for ceremony. The question before the House is one of awful moment in this country. For my own part, I consider it nothing less than a question of freedom or slavery. And in proportion to the magnitude of the subject, ought to be the freedom of the debate. New York State is a home rule state. We have legislation that grants us the right to self-government.
You're out of order. If you continue to talk, we're going to call a recess. Okay? And if you continue on
I'll wait.
there.
I'll wait.
Okay. And then we're going to call the cops and you're going to be removed.
Very well.
If you'd like to continue with your talk, you're going to have to wait and give other people a chance to talk.
I'll wait here.
I'm calling a recess. May I have a motion? Second? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. We are in recess until recall.